Well, I think the biggest challenge in college athletics is really marrying the integrity of the student-athlete experience, the competitive experience, with the financial demands that I think all of us face right now. And how do you ensure the integrity of that experience and not cave in to the outside pressures and forces? And to me, that challenge continues to grow and escalate. I've been involved in college athletics a long time, actually probably close to 35 years now, and I don't think that piece of the entity has changed. To me, the most enjoyable, rewarding part of the experience is providing opportunities for young men and women who might not otherwise have an opportunity for an education. You have a chance to change their lives, to change future generations of their families, and when they arrive on your campus as a wide-eyed, immature, naive 18-year-old, watching them matriculate through the system, grow, mature, evolve into incredibly diverse, talented young people who are ready to take on the world. And to me, that's still the biggest thrill and the biggest excitement, the biggest reward of what we do. I started out in the ticket office at the University of Oklahoma a long time ago. I was young and I had a lot to learn. I think over the years, one of the things I've learned is really how to juggle, how to multitask different events, different activities at one time. I also think one of the biggest things I've learned to do is really to thoroughly assess the situation, get the information needed to make a decision, yet do that in a timely fashion. Not rush to a decision, but make it in a timely fashion. And to me, those are two of the things that I've had to learn and develop over time. It sounds trite, it sounds simple, but it's true. And I'm not really sure who gave me the advice. It was a long time ago. It's not an 8-to-5 job, and if you're in it for the money, you're in it for the wrong reasons. And I think that still holds true today. It's not an 8-to-5 job. If you're in it for money, you're in it for the wrong reasons. Beyond that, I think as there's a lot of cynicism that's developed in and around athletics, and particularly college athletics these days, I think it still comes down to having some values, standing by those values, and remembering that at the heart of all we do, it's the student-athlete experience, and really not losing sight of that. I think one of the keys would be making thoughtful decisions under pressure, and not being rattled, and be able to assess and make decisions. Perhaps most importantly from my perspective, I think if I've had success in this business and in our career, it would be surrounding yourself with good people, the ability to hire talented people, recognize their skill sets, and then really provide them the resources and get out of their way and let them do what they do best. And I think I've been lucky in that regard, that I've worked with, for, and around a lot of quality people. And then perhaps the other one might be, I personally take great pride in, and I learned from some really quality people, one being Andy Geiger, the importance of developing relationships on campus. I think if we've done one thing particularly well here at the University of New Mexico that might be different from what we inherited, is there's a real respect and a rapport and an understanding of athletics, and we've built a lot of bridges on campus, and I think that's incredibly important. You can't succeed if you don't have support within your own university. I was very fortunate early in my career to work with a number of athletic directors and a number of people who supervised me to really stress that life-work balance. Early on, we were encouraged to bring our children to games, make sure we take time away, and that's something I've tried to replicate. As I grew up, my kids grew up in and around games, tried to encourage that with our staff. Personally, what I do, I do try and spend a lot of time with my wife. She's a big sports fan, so that obviously makes it easy. But I try and get away, whether it's reading, hiking, You know, in New Mexico we've got beautiful weather year-round, the sunshine, the blue skies, so whether it's on the golf course or hiking in the mountains or riding my bike, I think it's important that we all take the time to get away, relax, unwind, and I think it's incumbent upon those of us in a leadership position to make sure our staff, particularly our young staff, our staff with spouses, significant others, children, that they know the importance of getting time away and balancing work and their personal life. I've worked with some great people. I've been around some outstanding administrators and coaches. Probably the most impactful in the athletic world for me have been Jim Jones, who was athletic director at Ohio State. I think last year was inducted into the NACDA Hall of Fame. I learned early on from Jim about relationships, about developing staff, that family, life balance, work balance. Andy Geiger is another one, wonderful administrator who I worked with at Ohio State, who was so intelligent and so bright and really learned how to put an athletic department together. From Andy, I learned the value of having a broad-based, really successful athletic program. A lot of the relationship building that we do on campus here at the University of New Mexico was things that I really learned watching Andy. And Mike Wilcox, who on a personal level, financial advisor, personal advisor, many people in the NACDA world know of Mike as he's been in and around our industry, but Mike's been a tremendous asset and resource. Mike was chairman of the board of trustees at Bowling Green State University when I was athletic director there, and we've remained close friends and confidant, and I think it's important for all of us to have those mentors and really maintain those relationships. I think a lot of people in our industry think there's a particular path. This is and it seems to run in cycles. Boy, I've got to get in the development angle or in a marketing angle and rise up through the ranks. That's the quickest, surest path. I think in the end there is no one path. It's based upon your own personal skill sets, your own strengths. My background's probably a little unique in that I came out of the ticket industry, the ticket office. I don't think there's a lot of ADs that have come that path. I know of some, but I was fortunate enough to start out in the ticket office, internship at Ohio State in the ticket office, ticket director at Oklahoma when I was 25, ticket director at Ohio State. And you learn a lot about people, you learn a lot about dealing with stress, you learn a lot about personality, but you also know that that's a place that you want to get out of and move on to because it's a very thankless job. But I learned a lot. I learned a lot about the inner workings of the entire department, and I wouldn't have changed it for the world.